Hello, I'm Rachel Kahn, editor of Fear and Faith, Christian, Jewish, and Evolutionary Perspectives, a special themed volume of the Bonhoeffer Legacy, an international journal. When the Lutheran pastor Dietrich Bonhoeffer wrote his sermon on overcoming fear, he was addressing his German countrymen in 1933 after Hitler seized power. Many were scared, and he admonished them to have faith the way Jesus admonished his disciples in the tempest-tossed boat in the Sea of Galilee. Bonhoeffer drew on the rich biblical tradition of faith in God, overcoming fear of death. Yea, though I walk through the valley of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. In today's fearful times, with COVID claiming millions of victims, Australian theologian Charles Ringma draws on Bonhoeffer's inspirational writing to temper our responses and to give us hope. Most especially, that hope resides ultimately in something far greater than the state. It is God who gives hope and courage to the individual. And yet, New Zealand theologian Mick Duncan recalls his fearful experiences in the mission field in the Philippines that forced him to rethink Bonhoeffer's sermon on overcoming fear. Duncan foregrounds the real-life communal bonds and friendships as key to maintaining a faithful commitment, both in the mission field and in life. Turning to Jewish perspectives on fear and faith, Canadian biblical scholar Martin Lockshin examines the way fear and faith appear in the Hebrew Bible. Faith as a means of overcoming fear is well accepted, but the expression fear of God is often misunderstood. He underlines its meaning of awe, which is frequently found with love of God and God's love of the faithful and his creation. The awe he inspires is almost always a catalyst to ethical and moral behavior. Continuing that theme, Canadian-American scholar Alexander Green, who specializes in the thought of medieval Jewish philosopher and commentator Moses Maimonides, argues that the fear of God is inextricably linked to loving God, which is felt as both adoration and awe. Maimonides saw the intimate relationship to God as a catalyst to right action and social justice. In the burgeoning new field of religion and evolution, two scholars collaborate in an article, Can Evolution Make Sense of Fear? Lessons from Bonhoeffer and Darwin. Oxford scholar Dom Johnson, author of Fear of God Makes Us Human, teams up with New Zealand-based Joseph Bulbulia, editor of the online journal Religion, Brain and Behavior. Their fascinating study, starting with Darwin's observations, demonstrates how belief in God forges moral communities of cooperation and survival. Finally, Carola Radler, South African and Canadian theologian specializing in jurisprudence, gives us a closely argued study of Dietrich Bonhoeffer's thinking during the Nazi takeover of Germany, but before his imprisonment, when it introduced a new common law that destroyed the liberal basic freedoms and replaced the Jewish and Christian impetus to law-abiding behavior. Finally, Morris Shield, Lutheran pastor and church historian, reviews the most recent book by veteran Bonhoeffer scholar Professor John Moses, covering an array of innovative churchmen and radical thinkers, including Dietrich Bonhoeffer. This volume is a tour de force in thinking about the complex relationship between fear and faith in our religious traditions and in the charged atmosphere of social and political turmoil. It's the most apt reading for where we find ourselves at this moment in Australia and the world. Thank you.